what's not cool is the fact that I'm spoiling my children and turning them into little monsters.
What the?
There was a post earlier this week that was flagged by our community coordinator that reads like this. I'm astonished at how much gaming Linus gives to his kids nowadays. I know I am nobody to control him, but still, from their personal setups to the caravan gaming to server rack-mounted gaming and much more from the other video projects, isn't Linus giving too much luxury to his children? I mean, even with me, all the dedication that I have converted from the sadness and anger of not having tech luxury, at the most, I would only give my children a small game console in nursery, an Xbox or PS in first year, a light laptop in fourth, a mobile in sixth or earlier, and a gaming PC around some time, not 10 of the top-of-the-line RTX 4090 gaming PCs at age 5. Discuss. Okay, so hold on a second. Yes, it is very clear that my kids enjoy access to technology that is very different from what normal kids would have. They have pretty cool gaming PCs at the ages that they are.
But they're pretty time limited, and you make them do things. They have like goals that they have to accomplish before they can unlock certain amounts of gaming time.
But don't overestimate how much they are actually allowed to use them.
Yeah.
As a tech savvy parent, I may have the capability and the means to fill my house with technology. I was counting them, and I think in my house there's no fewer than somewhere between 15 and 20 computers.
I wonder how many screens.
Fewer than you might think?
A lot of them are surprisingly single monitor setups, but still TVs.
Okay, there's a fair number of screens. Yeah, there's a fair number of screens. There's a bunch of laptops, but those are redundant right now because the laptops that used to run the LAN center are just kind of in a pile.
Right.
Because we still need to do a video, like cleaning it up, and so I haven't cleaned it up on my own time because I want to make a video about it. Anyway,
Yeah.
The point is, see, people ask, like, what's your power bill? I mean, they're not on all the time, right? Like, so yes, I have the means and the capability to fill my place with computers, but that doesn't mean that but that also means I have the capability to restrict
Yeah, they don't just have free range to
access to the computers. I make extensive use of parental controls like Google's Family Link and Microsoft's whatever family safety. I forget what it's called. They're not allowed to install apps without permission. They're not allowed to use the computers without permission. They have to trade at a ratio of, I think, 1 to 1.5. Piano practice or dance or other like activity practice or chores in order to get gaming time. There are exceptions. When we do like family gaming time, they don't have to do anything for that, but you know, that's not something that happens every night.
And that's a rule that a lot of people have. Like I know one of them too is like if there's a type of game, like an example we had when we were growing up very often was like shooter games. A lot of people didn't want their kids playing shooter games below a certain age. But it was fairly common, I would find, with like my friends where they would be like, yeah, I can't play shooter games by myself, but I can play like co-op Halo with my dad. Because like as long as they're playing together, they were like, okay, this is fine. So yeah, I don't know. Family time's always been different. With
that said, it's a valid concern and it's one we think about a lot. Thank you for raising it, and it's definitely something that we are cognizant of, and you know, it's tough, right? Because on the one hand, we don't want them to be spoiled little brats, right? Like I don't think that's anything. I don't think that's something anyone wants from their kids. I think it's something that happens by accident.
I'm sure there's someone.
At least, yeah. I was going to say 90% of the time, I would say that spoiled, awful kids probably happen by accident. But that doesn't mean that you can be complacent about it. That means that, if anything, you need to be more vigilant about it. So don't worry. We are on it. We are doing our best. And no, don't assume that just because they have a lot of options for devices that they can use, that necessarily means that they can just go on them whenever they want. There are some exceptions. I actually created a document a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty proud of this little bit of parenting. The document is called I'm Bored. And the reason it exists is because I wanted to have something to point my kids to every single time they walk up to me and say,
That's smart.
I'm bored. And so this is the I'm bored document.
Do you want me to read?
Yeah, sure. You can read it.
Okay, so he's got locations. So I am asked, I am bored, and I am at location X. These are the things that I can say. So everywhere includes hide and seek, tag, listen to music or dance, educational activities on phone or computer, camera play, take pictures to record videos of each other, do whatever, film little videos, do whatever. Forts, building tents out of tubes or crazy forts, other things. I used to build them out of the dining room chairs when I was a kid. Reading, comic book corner, swing outside on the porch, bedroom, cats, just play with the cats in general. Okay, we're upstairs. Here's this insanely long list of toys. All right, we're on the main floor. Arts and crafts, hang out with different people, play piano, yoga, and exercise. Okay, we're in the basement. All these other things. Oh my God, this is really long.
There is so much to do in our house.
This is very long. And it takes multiple scrolling swipes to get through it.
And for that reason, I don't want them playing video games all the time because they could play dress up, or they could have a tea party, or they could practice magic tricks. There are some video games that don't need permission. If they play Beat Saber, or Dance Dash, or Box VR.
All of those make sense.
Or anything that is like a high exertion video game, that's allowed. They're allowed to play Ring Fit Adventure without permission.
That also makes sense.
As long as they have it set to a reasonable difficulty, so they're not just breezing through it.
Yep.
Other than that, they're allowed to play games that we consider educational. So I would say for my youngest, for example, something like Wordscapes is considered educational. I would say that gets a little less educational later on. But, you know, if they...
Up to a certain age.
Yeah, if they're using Duolingo or something like that,
level.
I would consider that to be educational. So using Family Link, you can apply different limits to apps on a per day basis. Or you can apply limits system-wide or to specific apps. So you could have 45 minutes of total screen time in a day, but an unlimited amount of this during that time and only 5 minutes of this during that time, and a completely unlimited amount of Kindle, for example, is an app that is completely unlocked on the kids that have phones and other devices. We also have a Kindle that they can just use. Because I'm of the mind that I don't care what they read as long as they read. Make of that what you will. It means that every time I go on my Kindle Unlimited account, I can't find anything in the sea of stupid Minecraft books or whatever, but that's a small price to pay.